Have you ever wondered what you'd do if you suddenly had the perfect life? I'm talking dream job, loving partner, money in the bank. Everything you've ever wanted just handed to you. Well, for Kenji, a quiet, unassuming accountant, that's exactly what happened. His life was fine. He didn't hate it, but he didn't love it either. It was a monotonous cycle of spreadsheets and solitude that all changed one rainy evening. Walking home from another long day at the office, Kenji spotted a small white fox lying injured on the side of the road. It had a deep gash on its leg and was shivering in the cold. Kenji, being the kind soul he was, couldn't just leave it there. He gently wrapped the fox in his jacket, took it home, and carefully cleaned and bandaged its wound. He stayed up all night, feeding it water drop by drop until its breathing steadied. The next morning, the fox was gone. In its place, sitting perfectly on his pillow, was a single, elegant white whisker. Kenji was puzzled, but he shrugged it off and went to work. That's when his world turned upside down. His boss, a man who barely knew his name, called him in and offered him a promotion he'd only dreamed of. On his way home, he literally bumped into a woman named Akari, and the connection was instantaneous. They talked for hours, and it felt like they'd known each other their whole lives. Things just kept getting better. He won a small lottery, then a bigger one. His lonely apartment was soon a beautiful home he shared with Akari. Life wasn't just good. It was perfect. He thought it was just a streak of incredible luck, a reward from the universe for his small act of kindness. He never forgot the little fox, but the memory grew distant like a pleasant dream. For 2 years, Kenji lived in this state of bliss. He married Akari, excelled in his career, and never once had to worry about money. He was truly, deeply happy, but then the cracks began to appear. It started with little things. A stranger on the street would stare at him with a look of intense hatred. Sometimes he'd catch a fleeting glimpse of a shadowy figure watching his house from across the street. He tried to ignore it, blaming it on stress. But one night he woke up in a cold sweat. He had a vivid dream of another man living his life, kissing Akari, working at his desk, living in his house. The man in the dream had Kenji's face, but his eyes were filled with a desperate rage. The next day, Kenji found a note slipped under his door. It was written in jagged, angry script. It said, "You stole my life." Kenji's blood ran cold. He tried to tell Akari, but she just laughed it off as a cruel prank. That evening, as they sat down for dinner, the power went out, and then came a knock at the door. A slow, deliberate, heavy knock. Kenji opened it to find a man standing on his porch. He looked gaunt, ragged, his clothes tattered, but his face. His face was a mirror image of Kenji's, twisted by years of suffering. "It's time to pay," the man snarled, his voice a low growl. "She gave you my life, my job, my wife, and I've spent 2 years in the gutter with nothing but your boring, empty existence." Suddenly, Kenji understood the fox. It wasn't just a fox. It was a Kitsune, a powerful spirit from old legends, and the perfect life she'd given him wasn't a gift. It was stolen. The Kitsune hadn't created anything. She had simply swapped their realities. This man standing before him was the original owner of this perfect life. From the shadows behind the man, a figure emerged. It was a woman with piercing golden eyes and a sly, knowing smile. "The Kitsune, did you enjoy the meal?" she asked, her voice like honey and poison. "I do love to watch my food fatten up before I collect the price." She wasn't a benevolent spirit. She was a predator. Kenji was never the recipient of a gift. He was just part of a cruel game. Now the real owner was back to reclaim what was his, and the Kitsune was here to enjoy the show. Kenji's perfect life was about to be ripped away, and he was staring into the eyes of the man whose miserable life he was about to inherit.